Hi, and thank you for tuning in and watching my first official episode of Out of the Darkness. My name is Nicole Esterly, and I'm wanting to talk to you today about the idea of not ever feeling like we're good enough. I want to take a quick minute and wish all you moms out there watching. Today is Mother's Day. I don't know about you, but I'm blessed to be the mama of three amazing children. My oldest is 17. My little mini me is 13 now, and my baby is 8 years old. And I couldn't ask for better kids. So I'm feeling pretty blessed. And also the fact that I've kept them fed, out of jail, not on drugs, and roof over their head. I think I'm doing a pretty good job as a mom, so I'm just going to pat myself on the back for that. And all of you ladies out there can say the same thing. Give yourself a pat on the back, because there are some days that in of itself is amazing. Anyways, back to what I wanted to talk about today. I spent a lot of time this week thinking about how to do this. I was watching listening to podcasts, watching other motivational speakers, and taking notes and thinking I wanted to be really cool or really edgy or open up with this amazing statement that was just so cool and that I was quoting someone famous. But unfortunately, I'm not doing that today, so I apologize if that's what you're looking for. I really feel like I need to talk to you straight from my heart and straight out of my gut. So if you're sitting there and you're like I was, sitting in that dark place wondering why you are so exhausted all the time, why are you constantly feeling like to be good enough, to be loved enough, to be happy, to get the approval you're looking for, you have to work harder, try harder, be prettier, be thinner, longer hair, wish you had longer legs. That's my problem in life. I got short, little legs. Anyways, maybe if I get this new outfit, or maybe if I dye my hair that color, I don't look good in blonde, by the way, either. Or maybe if I have sex with this man, you know what I mean, it'll be enough. Like enough in that I can lay down tonight and sleep sound, that I'll wake up in the morning and not be anxious or tired before my feet even hit the floor. I mentioned in my introductory video, or my testimony, if you will, that something bad happened to me as a child. I'd like to say that most of us sitting here have had experiences in our past that maybe left us with a bad taste or with some hurts we never dealt with. And some of you are sitting there watching right now who were so hurt as a child. They caused a hole and a darkness in you you've never been able to climb out of. That happened to me. You see, I was molested as a 5-year-old little girl. And I want to stress that this video is not about me going back and naming names and talking about the who's, the what's, the where's, and the why's, because none of that is relevant at this point in my life. I did all of that, and I crossed all those bridges and did all the therapy I needed to do, and I have peace in my life over this issue, which is why I can sit here now and talk about it with you. The fact of the matter is that what happened to me, that 5-year-old little girl, the rewiring that was done in my brain, the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment that I felt from that time on, I can't even begin to express to you unless you're sitting on the other side of this video with a very similar experience. I started doing some research this week because I wanted to be somewhat educated, and I also pulled out a lot of my therapy notes to be sure I could talk about this clearly. The numbers are quite staggering as far as the amount of children who have been abused in our culture. They can be anywhere from, in girls, 1 to 3 or 1 in 5 girls, and in boys, 1 in 5 or 1 to 7 boys will have been molested or abused when they were children, before they're 18 years of age. That's amazing. Those are really staggering numbers, and actually, quite honestly, it's just sick. But the fact of the matter is that this problem is one that just recycles itself, because a large percentage of children who are molested, who never get help, grow up and become molesters themselves or victimize other people themselves. So that's a whole other topic that I'm not going to get into. That's not been my experience, but what I can talk to you about is the other side effects of what that does, what that did to me. If you remember watching my first video, I shared kind of a wow testimony about, let's just say, a life filled with men. I was quite promiscuous, little thing. I like to say a little bit of a slut in common terms, or what my high school friends would have referred to me as. However, I didn't live the life of one. You see, I was like living a double life. I was a good student and the good daughter, a good wife even. My first marriage, we had the model marriage, and I was the picture wife until I wasn't. But that's a whole other story. The fact of the matter is, I was pretending to be one thing when I was living out something else completely, which is quite common. And if you're sitting on the other side knowing exactly what I mean, keep watching, we can talk more. You see, there's a psychological term for this, and I don't have it written down, but the fact is, we can tell ourselves one thing all we want. I can tell myself that it is wrong for me to cheat on my husband. I can tell myself it's wrong to get an abortion all I want, and we can talk about that in another episode. But I can tell myself all day long that it's wrong to do X, Y, and Z. But when I was a little girl, I was taught by an experience that happened to me that my value was based on quite something different. So those conflicting, what I wanted to believe about myself and what was put in my brain to be true about myself, were conflicting. It's that conflict in us that creates, and this is true for all people with these experiences, depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, eating disorders, hypersexuality, promiscuity. Put yourselves at risk for sexual transmitted diseases, and 25% more likely to become pregnant in teenage years. Check, 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 and check, and check. Something along those lines was my life. But it wasn't until I finally was willing to ask the questions with a good therapist that the memories came back, because I had repressed the memories because they had caused me so much shame and guilt. I didn't know how to handle it as a child. Did it start to make sense? So I want to stop real quick and do a little movie talk with you. One of my favorite movie series is the Conjuring series. I love the story of the demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren. I don't know if any of you are their fans out there or not, but love them. Scare the crap out of me. Love the movies though. But I believe it was in the second Conjuring 2, Lorraine Warren, the wife demonologist, realizes that to do away with this demon and send her back to hell, she has to know her name. If you can name it, you can claim it. Name your demon. You've heard these terms before, I'm sure. So the concept was she could name the demon. She figured it out in her Bible. Valak was the name, I believe. And when she named the demon, she could send it back to hell. It's a great movie, by the way. I highly recommend you watch if you didn't see it. Do it at night while you're by yourself with all the lights off. Perfect. You won't sleep for a week. Anyhow, back to what I was trying to talk about. The concept of what she was getting at in that movie and what people are talking about is the very basis for us to start to come out of our darkness. And by saying that, what I mean is when I was able to let those memories of what happened to me as a child come back, that aha moment started to put all of the pieces together as to why was I having sex with men I didn't want to be with. Why I can even remember times being intimate with a man and during the act crying because I didn't want to be doing what I was doing, but I was afraid to stop or tell them to stop because I was afraid if I did that, they would reject me. Yeah, that sucks. And if you can relate, I would urge you to find your voice, because you will only cause more damage to yourself emotionally and psychologically until you do. Anyhow, I finally figured out the why. I was finally able to name it. Where did it come from? And it was at that point where I started getting better. But it took time. The damage done to you psychologically, and then the damage that you continue to do to yourself through being promiscuous, through decisions like having an abortion or not having an abortion, or getting into marriages you don't want to be in, whatever it is, whatever you did, drugs, alcohol, anything to fill that hole, to make it stop, to feel complete, finally made sense. And it's when the work started. And when I started to feel like I understood a little bit more about me. Through that process, I had been in my second marriage when all of this was coming to be. And through that time period of a couple of years, I realized I was in an unhealthy marriage. Not just for me, but for him. In all honesty, I was doing as much damage to him as he was to me. And I won't say anything bad about him. But it was when I finally realized I needed to leave. And I needed to finally be okay. And I needed to finally learn to love me and accept me. Was when I started lifting myself out of that darkness with the help of great friends, great therapist, the church, and my own desire for my kids to finally see me happy and free and not tired, to be honest. Because I do know one of the feelings I always had was one of exhaustion. Of if I just did this, or all of the above, that maybe I'd finally be enough for that person or that thing to approve of me or be mine. And I will tell you, if this is your life, if this is what you do, it won't be. Sleeping with that man today, tonight, tomorrow, whatever it is not going to make it any better than it is right now. You will only feel more empty because they will leave you. They will take you for granted. And you will not be enough for them. Eventually, it'll be something else. So I'm just sharing that with you to maybe help you stop right now. And if it's not men and it's alcohol, it doesn't matter how much you drink. You could fill the ocean and it ain't going to make it stop. And it's not going to make that hole get any smaller. And it is not going to make the darkness go away. Now I'm going to go into my Christian faith piece here. So if you're about to turn me off because of this, I just ask you to stick with me just another minute or two. In the first video, I talked about the idea that if you could at least accept the fact that historically there was a man who allowed himself to be beaten and abused and nailed to a cross and died horribly because he believed with his whole self that he loved humanity, us human beings, us women so much, that he loved you so much that he would take that he would die. That's the moment. That's the love. That's the thing that's going to fill the hole. And it wasn't until that I accepted that fact that my real healing began. I still struggle. I have an amazing husband who is teaching me every day what it feels like and what it looks like to be loved for who I am, regardless of everything else. Regardless if I'm a size 2 or size 4. I've never been a size 2, a size 4 or a size 10. Regardless if my hair is long or my hair is short. Regardless if our bedroom life is on fire or it's just not right now. He loves me. He knows all of this junk about me and he doesn't care. He's the one encouraging me to talk. And he tells me he's proud of me for it. That's what love is. That's what acceptance is. And even without him being in my life, I would still be enough. I'm finally sitting on the other side of that darkness. And I want to be able to help you people sitting there watching this to be on the other side of that darkness too. So if anything that I've shared today resonated with you, brought up memories with you, has tears running down your face, or has you questioning some things, message me below. More importantly, reach out for help. Find someone you trust to talk to. And if your past, you had an experience like I did as a child, I would ask you to reach out for professional help. And I know some of this stuff can be tricky, especially when there could be family or family friends involved. So I would ask you to do this carefully. And if you're not sure, please message me below and I can get you some information of people to call, hotlines that are out there, and a safe person to talk to. If you want to message me below because you want to know more about my faith, I'll be happy to talk to you. I'll be happy to pray with you. If I can help you find Christ, I've achieved my goal, my ultimate goal in doing these videos, because it is truly my hope is that if I can reach just one, I'll consider this a success. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for allowing me to be unprofessional and somewhat unorganized. And I hope I helped somebody out there. So I hope you have a great week, and I hope you know how loved you are. I hope you realize that you are more than enough. And I hope that you are finally willing to maybe come out of that darkness. I will see you next week. Bye. My husband just reminded me to say this, sorry. Please subscribe to my channel to show me support, and please share this with other people you think this might help. Thanks. See you later.